Any successful person will tell you that a large reason of why they got to where they were was because they went against society. They went against the rules. They didn't get to where they were by doing what everyone else was doing. See, they're not followers. They are leaders. Jack Welch, perhaps most famous for streamlining GE, was named Manager of the Century by Fortune magazine in 1999. This was the same guy that was called Neutron Jack because he fired so many employees, and they wanted him out. He was really the first guy to change the hierarchical scheme of traditional management. He reduced management from 29 levels to only 6. Do you know how bold this was? He closed a lot of businesses in this process. He fired a significant percentage of his subordinates. This was upheaval. The company was up in arms when he was doing this. But because of these strong, brash tactics, he brought the value of GE from $12 billion up to $280 billion, the largest increase for any company under any CEO. No one believed in Six Sigma really until he adopted it. Now, 2/3 of Fortune 500 companies use this strategy. See, innovators go against the grain. I know people who work at Oracle, and let's just say, not everyone is fond of the CEO. Larry Ellison is not the most liked, but they don't see the world the way everyone else sees it. They have to see it in their mind before it's adopted by the mainstream. Larry Ellison said this quote, "When you innovate, you've got to be prepared for everyone telling you you're nuts." Why is that? Because they're the first ones there. If you're an innovator, you're the first one there in your mind. Everyone else isn't going to buy into it until it's adopted by the mainstream. They don't see the world the way that an innovator does. So no one else is going to get it. They're not on the same page as you because 99.999% of people don't buy into this concept unless it's fully adopted. Average people don't see the world the way special people do. Apparently, Howard Schultz got turned down by banks 242 times. After 10 times of doing this and getting said no, people are going to say to you, okay, you're crazy. Like, you need to do something different. Come up with a new idea. 100 times, you're absolutely nuts. What are you doing? 200 times, you are insane. Stop it. But there would be no Starbucks on every single corner if he bought into average people's thinking. He's built from something different. He lives by this mantra, always challenge the old ways. Henry Ford, father of the Ford Motor Company and father of the modern automobile, he was so bold during his times. He challenged his investors by insisting on producing affordable automobiles for a mass market. He developed this idea of wage incentive. He paid his employees much more than was common at the time. But he was able to attract and keep a strong workforce by doing this, by advocating welfare capitalism. But what he did is he took an unusual amount of interest in the lives of his employees. And he required them to live according to his rules. He restricted how much time they spent on their leisure hours. But he gave them incentives. And this was really risky at the time. But those risks paid off. At the end of Sam Walton's autobiography, Made in America, he wrote that the most important rule in business is to break all the rules. He said, "I always prided myself on breaking everybody else's rules, and I always favored the mavericks who challenged my rules." See, he was so innovative and daring, and that's exactly why he was able to build up Walmart to where it is today. Bill Gates was never content with the prevailing open source practices of software development at the time, and he decided to buck the system, and he demanded a closed source ethic. He completely changed the rules of software development, which is the industry as we know it today. Ray Kroc, he turned a small family-owned drive-in into a multi-billion-dollar global franchise called McDonald's. Maybe you've heard of it. See, Kroc's ingenuity was in finding a way to bring these goods to a mass market. And he did so revolutionizing the restaurant industry. But he introduced strict guidelines for how his items were produced and sold. And he basically turned the sale of hamburgers into a science. This is so unconventional at the time. Take a look at Wikipedia and Craigslist. Two business model structures that thrive off of not making money. See, they go out of their way to make a profit. And yet, they're two of the top 50 ranked sites in the world in terms of traffic. See, they didn't go for the quick profit like other startups, and especially in this dot-com era. But they were able to survive the dot-com boom and bust by providing a service as simply and straightforward as possible. Not pretty sites to look at, by any means. But they got the job done, right? Craigslist CEO Buckmaster says we're definitely oddballs in the internet industry, and we always have been. Lots of people made fun of us, especially at the height of the dot-com boom when everyone else was making money hand over fist. But most of those people are out of business now. Shia LaBeouf convinced an agent by talking to himself in the third person. See, this was a clever tactic to be noticed, reach goals. Michael Dell also defied convention in the computer industry. He started by cutting out the middleman and selling PCs directly to consumers. So he would allow them to custom order machines by phone and mail. This was going completely against the grain of the normal way in which the world works. See, he was a college dropout, but he saw a niche, he saw it in his mind, and he was able to execute. You will never be a maverick or a true original in life by doing what everyone else does. You will never be a true innovator unless you do something different, unless you go against the grain. And you may, just may, have to step on people's toes. You may not play nice like Jack Welch. Firing a lot of people is not a nice way. But you gotta be out of the ordinary to be extraordinary.